The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver knife against the black sky. After 3 days of silence, they had finally agreed to meet. Jinha straightened his uniform jacket as he prepared to represent humanity in its first official contact with extraterrestrial life. "Remember," Commander Rex said, placing a firm hand on Jinha's shoulder, "we're not here to beg. Earth stands as equals," Jinha nodded. "Let's hope they see it that way too." The meeting room aboard the International Space Station had been converted for this historic moment. A long table divided the room, with humans on one side and empty chairs waiting on the other. Jinha took his seat between Commander Rex and Lisa Park, Earth's leading xenolinguist. "They're coming," Lisa whispered, her eyes fixed on the airlock door. The door slid open with a soft hiss. 3 tall beings entered the room. They moved with perfect grace, their bodies covered in what looked like polished stone or crystal. Their faces had no mouths, only glowing points of light where eyes might be. Jinha felt a chill run down his spine. They were beautiful and terrifying at once. The tallest alien stepped forward. A small device on its chest glowed, and a voice filled the room. Not spoken, but somehow projected directly into their minds. "We are representatives of the Galactic Concordat, a union of 7,342 spacefaring civilizations. I am Delegate Prime. We have monitored your world for 3 of your centuries." Jinha leaned forward. "On behalf of Earth, we welcome you and look forward to peaceful exchange between our peoples." The alien's lights flickered in what might have been amusement. "Your optimism is noted. However, this is not an exchange. We are here to inform you of your place in the galactic order." Commander Rex tensed beside Jinha. "Our place? All species are classified according to established protocols," the alien continued. "Humanity qualifies as Tier 7, a developing species with limited technological advancement but concerning aggressive tendencies." Lisa Park frowned. "We've only just met. How can you judge our entire species so quickly? We have observed your wars, your environmental damage, your social structures. The data is comprehensive." The alien's voice remained flat, emotionless. "As a Tier 7 species, you will be placed under observation for 3 centuries. During this time, resource extraction rights to your solar system will be allocated to senior Concordat members." Jinha felt his heart rate increase. "Resource extraction? This is our home system. Your species will be permitted to retain Earth and limited orbital infrastructure. The rest will be managed according to Concordat regulations." The alien placed a crystal tablet on the table. "These are the full terms of your integration. They are non-negotiable." Jinha glanced at the tablet, then back at the alien. "With respect, Delegate Prime, Earth is a sovereign world. We cannot simply hand over our solar system because you've decided we're Tier 7, the alien's lights pulsed slowly. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation or request. This is how the galaxy functions. All species are categorized and managed. It prevents chaos." Commander Rex leaned forward. "And if we refuse?" "Refusal is not an option provided in the protocols." The alien's voice grew colder. "Species that resist integration are considered destabilizing elements. The Concordat does not permit destabilizing elements." Jinha felt the weight of the threat. He looked at the other human representatives, scientists, diplomats, and military officers from Earth's major nations. Their faces showed the same mix of shock and anger he felt. "We will need time to discuss these terms with our governments," Jinha said carefully. "You have 7 Earth days to prepare for integration." The alien stood. "We will return for your formal acknowledgement." After the aliens left, the room erupted in angry voices. "This isn't first contact. It's colonization," shouted Quan, the Chinese representative. "They can't just claim our entire solar system," Lisa Park added, her hands shaking as she examined the crystal tablet. Commander Rex remained silent, his face grim as he studied the alien document through a translator. Jinha called for quiet. "We need to understand what we're dealing with. Lisa, what can you tell us about this Concordat?" Lisa connected the tablet to her computer. "It's incredible. Their database contains information on thousands of species, star maps of the entire galaxy, technological specifications beyond anything we've imagined." She looked up, her eyes wide. "According to this, the Concordat has existed for over 1 million years, and they've been watching us for centuries," Jake Morrison, the American representative, said. probably laughing at how primitive we are. Jinha shook his head. I don't think they laugh. Did you notice how mechanical they seemed? No emotion, just rules and protocols. Commander Rex finally spoke. The tablet contains their military capabilities. His voice was flat. If these specifications are accurate, a single one of their ships could destroy our entire planet. The room fell silent as the reality of their situation sank in. So we just surrender? Quan asked, his voice bitter. Jinha stared out the window at the alien ship. No, but we need to be smart. They expect us to either submit or fight, both responses they've seen countless times before. He turned back to the group. But humans have always been good at finding a third option. Over the next 3 days, Earth's governments worked around the clock. The public was told only that peaceful contact had been made, and negotiations were ongoing. Meanwhile, Jinha led a small team analyzing everything they could learn from the Concordate's tablet. Their entire civilization is built on classification and order, Jinha explained during an emergency UN session. Every species, every planet, every resource, all neatly categorized and regulated. And where exactly do humans fit in this grand scheme? Asked the Secretary General. Jinha displayed a holographic chart. Tier 7 is essentially a quarantine classification. Species deemed unpredictable or potentially disruptive are kept isolated until they either conform to Concordate standards or destroy themselves. So they're not even giving us a chance, Harin, the Korean representative said bitterly. No, Jinha replied. They've already judged us. But their judgment reveals something important. They fear what they cannot predict. Commander Rex stepped forward. We've analyzed their military capabilities. A direct confrontation would be suicide, but their systems are built on absolute certainty and predictability. And if there's one thing humans have never been, Jinha added, it's predictable. On the 7th day, the alien delegation returned. This time, they met in the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The world watched as Delegate Prime and 2 other aliens took their places. Before Earth's representatives, has humanity prepared for integration? The alien asked, its mental voice echoing through the hall. Jinha stood. We have prepared a response. He walked forward carrying a small device. This contains our formal position on the Concordate's proposal. The alien reached for the device, but Jinha held it back. First, I must inform you of something your extensive observations seem to have missed. Jinha's voice was calm but firm. Humans don't simply follow rules, we question them. We test them, and when necessary we create better ones. The alien's lights flickered rapidly. The protocols are not optional. They are the foundation of galactic stability. Jinha smiled, perhaps for the species you've encountered before. But humanity has thrived precisely because we adapt, we innovate, and we refuse to accept limitations imposed by others. He handed over the device. This is not our surrender. It's our counter-proposal. Earth will not be classified as Tier 7 or any other tier. We propose a new category altogether, independent ally. The alien's lights pulsed in what might have been confusion or anger. This is not how integration works. Then perhaps, Jinha said, his eyes steady, it's time for the galaxy to learn a new way. 3 months after Earth's refusal to accept Concordate terms, the situation had grown dire. The alien ships now numbered 12, forming a ring around Earth like a noose slowly tightening. Harin checked her oxygen levels as she floated in the darkness of space. Her stealth suit, developed using scraps of information gleaned from the Concordate tablet, absorbed radar and heat signatures. To any sensors, she was just another piece of space debris. Team in position, she whispered into her comm. Waiting for your signal. Quan's voice came through her earpiece. Patrol ship approaching your sector. Hold position for 3 minutes. Harin remained perfectly still as a small Concordate vessel glided past, its crystalline hull gleaming in the sunlight. The aliens had established a blockade, cutting Earth off from its lunar colonies and mining operations. Resources were growing scarce. Clear, Quan finally said. Proceed to entry point. Harin activated her maneuvering pack and drifted toward the largest Concordate ship, the command vessel. Intelligence suggested it contained the central database for all Concordate operations in the solar system. If they could access it, humanity might find a weakness to exploit. Remember, Commander Rex's voice joined the channel. This is a reconnaissance mission only. Get in, download what you can, and get out. No heroics. Understood, Haran replied, though she knew every member of the team was prepared to sacrifice themselves if necessary. Earth's future was at stake. As she approached the massive ship, Haran marveled at its design. Unlike human vessels built with visible seams and components, the Concordate ship looked grown rather than constructed, a single piece of crystalline material that pulsed with inner light. "I'm at the entry point," she reported, reaching a small maintenance hatch that human hackers had identified as a potential weak spot. Deploying interface. Jake Morrison responded from his position in a stealth shuttle half a kilometer away. A small drone detached from Haran's pack and attached itself to the ship's hull. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, the hatch slid open. "I'm in," Haran whispered, slipping inside before the hatch closed behind her. The interior of the alien ship was unlike anything she had imagined. The corridors were not straight but curved in gentle arcs. The walls themselves seemed alive, pulsing with patterns of light that might have been information, power, or both. "Life support readings?" Lisa Park asked from Mission Control, hidden in an underground bunker on Earth. Haran checked her suit's sensors. "Atmosphere is breathable but high in some gas I can't identify. Gravity at about 80% of Earth normal. Temperature comfortable. Stay in your suit," Commander Rex ordered. "We don't know what contaminants might be present." Haran moved carefully through the ship, following the map they had constructed from external scans. The strange thing was the lack of crew. She had expected to encounter aliens, but the corridors were empty. "Where is everyone?" she whispered. "Their crew complement is minimal," Lisa explained. "Most functions are automated. According to what we've learned, the Concordate relies heavily on AI systems." Haran reached a junction where the corridor split in 3 directions. "Which way?" "Central path," Quan directed. "The energy readings suggest their main systems are that way." As Haran moved deeper into the ship, the light patterns on the walls grew more complex, swirling and pulsing around her. She felt as if the ship itself was watching her. "I think I found it," she said as she entered a large circular chamber. At its center stood a column of pure light, stretching from floor to ceiling. Around it, floating crystals moved in complex patterns. "That's their database," Lisa confirmed. "The crystals are storage units. You need to place the extraction device as close to the central column as possible." Haran approached carefully, aware that any alarm would mean her death, and possibly Earth's as well. She removed a small device from her pack, a hybrid of human and reverse-engineered alien technology. "Deploying now," she said, placing the device at the base of the light column. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the device lit up, connecting to the alien system. The floating crystals paused in their dance as if confused. "It's working," Lisa reported excitedly. "We're receiving data. This is incredible. Their entire command structure, ship specifications, communication protocols." Haran allowed herself a small smile. The mission was succeeding beyond their hopes. Then everything went wrong. The light patterns on the walls turned from blue to red. A high-pitched sound filled the chamber, painful even through her helmet. "They've detected the intrusion," Quan shouted. "Haran, get out now!" Haran grabbed the extraction device, which was still downloading. "Not yet. We need more time." "Abort mission," Commander Rex ordered. "That's a direct command." Haran hesitated. The device showed only 60% completion. Just 30 more seconds, the chamber door slid open. 3 concordate beings floated in, their crystalline bodies glowing with angry red light. They carried no visible weapons, but Haran knew they didn't need them. The aliens could control their ship with thought alone. Intruder identified, one of them projected into her mind. Human female. Tier 7 species. Unauthorized access to concordate systems. Haran backed away, checking the device. 80% complete. Your species was warned, the alien continued. Resistance to integration is not permitted. We're not resisting integration, Haran replied, playing for time. We're resisting extinction. The alien's lights pulsed. Your species will not be exterminated. It will be contained and studied. Your resources will serve the greater good of the Concordate. And who decided what the greater good is? Haran asked. Did anyone ask the thousands of species you've subjugated? The aliens moved closer. Questions are irrelevant. The protocols are absolute, 95% complete. Haran needed just a few more seconds. That's your problem, she said. You've followed your protocols for so long you've forgotten how to think. Humans never stop questioning, never stop looking for better ways. Your primitive philosophy is noted, the alien replied. It will be added to your species profile. 100%. The device beeped softly. Transmission complete, Lisa's voice came through the comm. Haren, get out of there! Haren grabbed the device and activated her emergency beacon. I hope you've learned something from this encounter, she told the aliens. Because we certainly have. Before they could respond, she threw a small sphere toward them. It exploded in a blinding flash of light, not a weapon, but a distraction. In the confusion, Haren sprinted for the exit. Extraction team, move in, Commander Rex ordered. Haren ran through the corridors, following her map back to the maintenance hatch. Behind her, alarm signals pulsed through the ship. Ahead, she could see the hatch beginning to open. 10 seconds to extraction, Jake Morrison called. Haren reached the hatch and launched herself into space, just as a group of aliens rounded the corner behind her. Outside, Jake's stealth shuttle decloaked long enough for her to grab the extended grapple line. I've got her, Jake reported as he pulled Haren aboard and the shuttle disappeared again. As they sped away from the Concordate fleet, Haren clutched the precious data device. Tell me it was worth it, she gasped, trying to catch her breath. Lisa's voice came through, filled with excitement. Worth it? Haren, you've just given us the key to fighting back. The Concordate has never faced a species like humans before, and now we know why. Back on Earth in the underground command center, Jinha studied the incoming data with growing amazement. Their entire classification system, he murmured. Their weaknesses, their fears. Commander Rex looked over his shoulder. What have you found? Jinha looked up, his eyes bright with hope for the first time in months. The reason they fear us, and how we're going to use that fear to save our planet. Jinha hadn't slept in 36 hours. The data Haren had stolen from the Concordate ship filled dozens of screens around him. Scientists, military strategists, and linguists worked in shifts to understand the alien information, but Jinha refused to rest. You need sleep, Lisa Park said, placing a cup of coffee beside him. Exhausted minds make mistakes, Jinha rubbed his eyes. There's something here, Lisa, something important that we're missing. The underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains had become humanity's main command center. After Haren's mission, the Concordate had increased their blockade and begun jamming Earth's communications. Only this facility with its special shielding could maintain secure contact with resistance cells worldwide. Commander Rex entered the room, his face grim. The Concordate has landed troops in 3 locations, Northern Africa, Central Asia, and Brazil. They're establishing what they call processing centers. Processing for what? Lisa asked. According to the data, they're collecting DNA samples from Earth's population, Jinha explained. They're creating a genetic catalog of our species. Quan joined them carrying a tablet. The news gets worse. They've begun harvesting rare minerals from our oceans. At their current rate, they'll deplete our reserves within months. Jinha turned back to the main screen, which displayed the Concordate species classification system. There has to be a reason they put us in Tier 7. What makes humans different from the other species they've encountered? Lisa studied the data. Most species they've cataloged evolved toward specialization. The Dravians developed perfect photosynthesis. The Makari have extraordinary mathematical abilities. Each species excels in one area. And humans? Commander Rex asked. We're generalists, Jinha said. We're not the strongest, fastest, or smartest, but we adapt to almost any environment or situation. Quan pointed to another section of data. Look at this. The Concordate has predictive models for every species, how they'll respond to contact, how they'll develop over time, even how they'll eventually decline. Jinha leaned forward. Can you show me their model for humans? Quan tapped the screen, bringing up a complex chart. This is strange. Their model for humans shows multiple divergent paths, not a single trajectory like the other species. Jinha's eyes widened. That's it. They can't predict us. Their entire civilization is built on order and predictability, but humans are inherently unpredictable. Lisa scrolled through more data. According to their biological scans, human neural plasticity, our ability to rewire our brains through experience, exceeds every known species by orders of magnitude. We learn faster, Jinha said. We adapt quicker, and most importantly, we don't follow expected patterns. Commander Rex frowned. So they put us in Tier 7 because we're unpredictable? No, Jinha said, his voice growing excited. They put us in Tier 7 because they're afraid of us. He pulled up another file from the stolen data. Look at their projections. If left unchecked, they predict that within 1 century humans would advance beyond their control. Within 3 centuries, we might surpass their technology entirely. The room fell silent as they absorbed this information. They're not here to integrate us, Jinha continued. They're here to contain us before we become a threat. Jake Morrison, who had been quietly analyzing military data in the corner, spoke up. That explains their tactics. They're not trying to destroy us, they're trying to stunt our growth. Haran, who had recovered from her mission, joined the conversation. So what do we do with this information? How does knowing they fear us help us fight back? Jinha smiled for the first time in days. Because now we know their greatest weakness, their reliance on predictability, and we can use that against them. Over the next week, Jinha worked with a small team to develop a plan. They analyzed every piece of data from the Concordate ship, looking for vulnerabilities in the aliens' technology and psychology. Their ships use quantum-locked navigation, Jinha explained during a strategy meeting. Their positions are fixed relative to each other through quantum entanglement. In simple terms, Commander Rex asked. They're all connected, Lisa clarified. What affects one ship affects them all. It's why they move with such perfect coordination. And it's their weakness, Jinha added. If we can disrupt that quantum connection, we could blind their entire fleet at once. Quan looked skeptical. How? Our technology isn't advanced enough to interfere with quantum entanglement. Not directly, Jinha agreed. But we don't need to understand how it works to disrupt it. We just need to create enough quantum noise. He brought up a diagram of Earth's particle accelerators. If we reconfigure these to generate specific quantum patterns, we might be able to create interference. Might? Haran asked. Jinha nodded. It's a theory. The Concordate would never try it because it violates their understanding of physics. But humans have always been willing to try the impossible. Commander Rex studied the plan. Even if this works, it only blinds them temporarily. We need a way to force them to leave our system permanently. That's where the second part of the plan comes in, Jinha said. He pulled up another file from the stolen data. The Concordate has a strict hierarchy. Lower-tier species are never supposed to contact higher-tier ones directly. Why not? Lisa asked. Control, Jinha explained. They keep species separated to prevent alliances that might challenge Concordate authority. Haran's eyes lit up with understanding. So if we could somehow contact other species... Exactly, Jinha said. According to this data, there are 17 species in nearby systems that have been classified as Tier 5 or Tier 6. None of them know about the others. If we could establish communication, we could create an alliance, Commander Rex finished. But how do we contact them with the Concordate blocking all our transmissions? Jinha pointed to a section of the star map. The Concordate uses quantum relay stations to communicate across the galaxy. If we can capture one, we could send our own message, Quan said. The plan was dangerous, perhaps suicidal. But as Jinha reminded them, humans have always achieved the impossible when our backs are against the wall. 2 days later, Jinha stood before the United Earth Council. The emergency government formed after the Concordate's arrival. Representatives from every nation listened as he outlined the plan. The Concordate believes they understand us, Jinha concluded. They've placed us in their neat classification system and expect us to behave accordingly. But throughout human history, we've defied expectations. When told something is impossible, we take it as a challenge. The council president leaned forward. Your plan requires coordinated action from facilities around the world. With the Concordate jamming our communications, how will we synchronize? Jinha smiled. We'll use methods the Concordate would never expect. Methods so old they won't be looking for them. He explained how they would use a network of ham radio operators, Morse code, and even physical messengers to coordinate the global response. The Concordate monitored digital communications but paid little attention to these primitive methods. What about casualties? Another council member asked. This plan will provoke the Concordate to attack. People are already dying under their occupation, Haran pointed out. The processing centers are just the beginning. According to their own data, they plan to reduce Earth's population to a manageable level. The room grew quiet as this sank in. We're not just fighting for our freedom, Jinha said softly. We're fighting for our survival as a species. The Concordat fears what humanity might become. I say we show them their fears were justified. The council voted unanimously to approve the plan. As the meeting ended, Commander Rex pulled Jinha aside. You know the Concordat will never expect humans to attempt something this audacious, he said. That's our advantage. Jinha nodded. Throughout history, humans have accomplished the impossible by refusing to accept limitations. The Concordat has existed for 1,000,000 years without facing a serious challenge. Until now, Rex said. Until now. Jinha agreed. They've never encountered a species that doesn't follow the rules, a species that makes its own. As they left the council chamber, Jinha looked at the star map one last time. Somewhere out there were other species suffering under Concordat rule, species who, like humans, deserved the right to determine their own destiny. The galaxy is about to learn what happens when you corner humans, he said quietly. We don't surrender. We evolve. The day of humanity's counterattack dawned with an eerie calm. Concordat ships hung in the sky like silent judges, their crystalline hulls catching the morning light. Harin checked her fighter systems one final time. Around her, 200 pilots did the same. Their aircraft were a strange mix of human and reverse-engineered alien technology, ugly but functional. Remember your training, she said over the comm. Stay in your assigned groups. Don't try to be heroes. Bit late for that, Jake Morrison replied from his own fighter. We're about to attack an alien fleet with technology 1,000 years ahead of ours. Harin smiled despite her nerves. That's why they won't expect it. In the underground command center, Jinha watched as teams around the world reported ready status. The plan required perfect timing. If any element failed, the entire operation would collapse. Particle accelerators in Europe are online, Lisa Park reported. Asia and North America as well. Quantum noise generators? Jinha asked. Quan nodded. All systems ready. Power levels at maximum. Commander Rex studied the tactical display. Concordat ships are maintaining standard patrol patterns. No sign they've detected our preparations. Jinha took a deep breath. This was humanity's one chance. If they failed, the Concordat would tighten their grip until Earth became just another conquered world. Begin Operation Prometheus, he ordered. Around the world, particle accelerators that normally probe the secrets of physics were repurposed to generate specific quantum patterns. The energy requirements were enormous, causing power outages across entire continents. But as the systems came online, they created a growing wave of quantum interference. In orbit, the first Concordat ship suddenly changed course, nearly colliding with another. It's working, Lisa said, watching the sensor feeds. Their quantum navigation is destabilizing. More alien ships began to drift out of formation. Some fired thrusters randomly, trying to maintain position. Others went dark completely. Launch fighters, Commander Rex ordered. Harin felt her stomach tighten as her aircraft shot into the sky. 200 human fighters against 12 Concordat warships would normally be suicide. But the alien vessels were now blind, their perfect coordination shattered. Target the relay station, Harin reminded her squadron. Everything else is secondary. The Concordat had placed a quantum communication relay in Earth orbit to coordinate their fleet. This was humanity's primary target, their link to the wider galaxy. As the fighters approached orbit, the Concordat ships began to respond. Though their navigation was compromised, their weapons remained functional. Beams of energy cut through the sky, destroying dozens of human aircraft in seconds. Evasive pattern Delta, Harin ordered, rolling her fighter to avoid enemy fire. Use the debris as cover. The remains of Earth satellites and space stations had created a field of orbiting junk. Now this debris became a shield for the attacking fighters, confusing the Concordat's targeting systems. I'm hit, a pilot called out. Engine failing. Return to base if you can, Harin replied. Otherwise aim for a target. The damaged fighter turned directly toward a Concordat ship, accelerating to maximum speed. The impact was small against the massive alien vessel, but it created a breach in the hull. On the ground, Jinha watched the battle with growing concern. They were losing too many fighters too quickly. Quantum interference is weakening, Quan reported. The accelerators can't maintain this power level much longer. They don't need to, Jinha said. We just need to reach the relay. In space, Harin's squadron had fought their way to the relay station, The alien structure was smaller than the warships but heavily defended by automated weapons. "I can't get close enough for a clean shot," Jake reported, his fighter weaving through energy beams. "Cover me," Harin said. "I'm going in." She pushed her fighter to maximum speed, heading straight for the relay. Enemy fire tracked her, hitting her left wing. Warning lights flashed across her console. "Harin, pull back," Commander Rex ordered. "You're too exposed." She ignored the command, focusing entirely on her target. The relay grew larger in her view screen. At the last moment, she released her payload. Not bombs, but a specially designed transmission device. "Package delivered," she reported, pulling away as her fighter shuddered. "But I'm losing control." The device attached to the relay immediately tapping into its systems. Back in the command center, Lisa Park's hands flew across her console. "We're connected to the relay," she announced. "Beginning transmission now." The message they sent was simple but powerful. The truth about the Concordat. Using the aliens' own data, they revealed how the Concordat had systematically subjugated thousands of species, keeping them isolated and controlled. The message included coordinates for a secure communication frequency and a plea for alliance. "Message sent," Lisa confirmed. "It's broadcasting to all 17 nearby systems with Tier 5 and Tier 6 species." Jinha nodded grimly. "Now we find out if anyone is listening." In space, the battle was turning against humanity. The quantum interference was fading, allowing the Concordat ships to regain their coordination. Human fighters were being destroyed faster than they could inflict damage. "All squadrons return to Earth," Commander Rex ordered. "We've accomplished our objective." Harin's damaged fighter tumbled through space, its controls barely responding. "Not sure I can make it back," she said calmly. "Hang on," Jake Morrison's voice came through. "I'm coming to you." His fighter appeared alongside hers, using its own thrusters to stabilize her craft. Together, they began the dangerous descent back to Earth. On the largest Concordat ship, the Delegate Prime received reports of the human attack. Its crystalline body pulsed with angry red light. "The humans have accessed our relay," it communicated to its subordinates. "They have transmitted unauthorized data to other systems." "Impossible," another alien responded. "Tier 7 species cannot operate quantum technology." "These humans continue to defy classification," the Delegate Prime replied. "Prepare the main weapon. We will make an example of their largest city." In the command center, alarms suddenly blared. Energy buildup detected in the primary Concordat vessel, Quan reported, his voice tense. "It's like nothing we've seen before." Jinha studied the readings. "They're preparing to attack. Warn all major cities to begin evacuations." But before the Concordat could fire, something unexpected happened. New signals appeared on their sensors, ships emerging from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. "Are those Concordat reinforcements?" Commander Rex asked. Lisa studied the data. "No, these are different designs. I'm detecting 12 distinct ship types." Jinha watched in amazement as more vessels appeared. "They heard us." "The other species actually heard us." The new arrivals took up positions around Earth, placing themselves between the planet and the Concordat fleet. A transmission came through on all frequencies, translated into every human language. "People of Earth," a voice said, "we are the Free Species Alliance. For too long we have suffered under Concordat rule, believing we were alone. Your message has awakened us to the truth." Jinha exchanged shocked looks with his team. They had hoped for a response, but nothing this rapid or unified. "The Concordat has maintained control through isolation," the transmission continued. "By keeping us separate, they prevented us from sharing knowledge and strength. That ends today." The Concordat ships began to retreat, moving away from Earth toward the edge of the solar system. They were outnumbered by the new arrivals. "They're running," Harin said in disbelief as she and Jake finally reached Earth's atmosphere. "Not running," Jinha corrected. "Regrouping. This isn't over." As the alien ships departed, representatives from the Free Species Alliance requested permission to land. Within hours, Earth's leaders were meeting with beings from a dozen different worlds, all victims of Concordat classification and control. "How did you respond so quickly to our message?" Jinha asked a tall, feathered being who introduced itself as a Vixari ambassador. "We have been waiting for this moment," the alien replied. "Many of us suspected others existed, but the Concordat prevented any contact. Your species did what none of us dared. You defied them openly." Commander Rex joined them. The Concordat will return with a larger force. Yes, the ambassador agreed. But they will not face Earth alone. They will face all of us united for the first time. Jinha looked around at the diverse gathering of species. We have much to learn from each other. And much to teach, the ambassador replied. The Concordat feared humans for a reason. Your adaptability, your creativity, your willingness to challenge established rules. These are qualities our alliance desperately needs. As night fell on a changed Earth, Jinha stood with Harin watching the lights of alien ships in the sky. Not invaders now, but allies. Do you think we can win? Harin asked quietly. Jinha considered the question. The Concordat has ruled for 1,000,000 years because no one challenged their system. But humans have always excelled at one thing above all others. What's that? Creating new systems when the old ones fail us, Jinha replied. The galaxy is about to learn what happens when humans don't just break the rules. We rewrite them. 1 year after Earth's defiance of the Concordat, Jinha stood on the observation deck of the Alliance flagship Unity. The massive vessel, a combination of technologies from 7 different species, orbited a neutral star system far from both Earth and Concordat space. Nervous? Commander Rex asked, joining him at the viewport. Jinha nodded. This meeting will determine the future of not just humanity, but all free species. The past year had been one of rapid change. After the formation of the Free Species Alliance, the Concordat had withdrawn from Earth's solar system, but not abandoned their plans. 3 major battles had been fought across different star systems as the Alliance defended member worlds from Concordat retaliation. The Concordat delegation has arrived, Lisa Park announced, entering the observation deck. They've brought 5 ships. Only 5? Jinha asked, surprised. Their battle fleets usually number in the dozens. They're not here to fight, Lisa explained. According to our intelligence, they're here to negotiate. This was unprecedented. In its 1,000,000-year history, the Concordat had never negotiated with lower-tier species. They imposed their will through superior technology and unbreakable rules. They're afraid, Harin said, joining the group. Her left arm was now a prosthetic, a reminder of her crash landing after the battle for Earth. Our alliance has grown too strong too quickly. Jinha nodded. 23 species now, with more joining each month. The Concordat's control is slipping. Quan entered with a data tablet. The meeting chamber is ready. Representatives from all alliance species are present. Jinha took a deep breath. As the human who had first defied the Concordat openly, he had been chosen to lead the alliance delegation. It was a heavy responsibility. Remember, he told his team, we're not just fighting against the Concordat's rules. We're creating something new, a galaxy where all species determine their own path. The meeting chamber was a large circular room with a transparent dome that revealed the stars above. Representatives from the alliance species sat in a semicircle facing the Concordat delegation. The contrast was striking. The alliance showed incredible diversity, from the feathered Vexari to the gaseous Nimbari, who floated in special containment fields. The Concordat delegation consisted of 5 identical crystalline beings, perfectly symmetrical and emotionless. Jinha took his place at the center of the alliance representatives. Beside him sat the Vexari ambassador who had first responded to Earth's call for help. This gathering violates Concordat protocols, the lead alien began without preamble. Species of different classification tiers are not permitted direct contact. Jinha smiled slightly. That rule no longer applies to us. We are not here as classified species, but as free and equal members of the alliance. The Concordat delegates' lights pulsed rapidly. Your alliance is temporary. History shows that diverse species cannot maintain cooperation without proper hierarchical structure. Your history, perhaps, Jinha replied, but we are writing a new history. He gestured to the alliance representatives. Each species here brings unique strengths and perspectives. The Vexari's mathematical insights, the Nimbari's understanding of energy patterns, humanity's adaptability. Together we are stronger than any single species could be alone. This disrupts the natural order, the Concordat delegate insisted. Our classification system has maintained galactic stability for 1,000,000 years. Stability for whom? Harin asked sharply. Not for the species whose resources you harvested, not for the civilizations whose growth you stunted. The Vexari ambassador raised a feathered hand. For too long. We believe the Concordate's claim that their rule was necessary for our protection, that without their guidance we would destroy ourselves or be destroyed by others. A reasonable concern, the Concordate delegate responded. Unregulated species development leads to conflict and extinction. Our records document 17,000 species that destroyed themselves before reaching Tier 3 status. Jinha leaned forward. And how many species have stagnated under your control? How many potential discoveries and advancements have been lost because you decided their path for them? The meeting continued for hours, with both sides presenting their views. The Concordate delegates remained rigid, citing protocols and historical precedents. The Alliance representatives spoke of freedom, cooperation, and the right of all beings to determine their own destiny. Finally, Jinha stood to make a final statement. The Concordate has existed for 1,000,000 years because no species challenged your fundamental assumption that the galaxy needs rulers to impose order from above. Humans rejected that assumption from our first contact with you. He walked to the center of the chamber. We propose a new system, not a hierarchy, but a network. Not rules imposed by the powerful, but principles agreed upon by all. Not control, but cooperation. Jinha activated a holographic display showing a new galactic map. The Alliance offers this peace proposal. The Concordate may maintain its current core systems. All other worlds currently under Concordate control will be given the choice to remain or join the Alliance. No species will be classified or restricted in their development. The Concordate delegates' lights flickered rapidly as they communicated among themselves. Finally, the lead delegate spoke. Your proposal violates fundamental Concordate principles. It would lead to chaos. Perhaps, Jinha acknowledged. Freedom always carries risk, but it also creates possibilities that control never can. The lead delegate seemed to study Jinha for a long moment. Humans continue to defy our understanding. Our models predicted you would either submit or be destroyed. Instead, you have created a third option. That's what humans do, Jinha said simply. When faced with impossible choices, we make new ones. After more discussion, the Concordate delegates withdrew to consider the proposal. The Alliance representatives gathered around Jinha. Do you think they'll agree? Lisa asked. Jinha shook his head. Not immediately. Their entire civilization is built on control and predictability, but we've shown them that their system is no longer sustainable. And if they choose war instead? Commander Rex asked. Then we'll fight, Harin said firmly. But not just with weapons. We'll fight with ideas. Every world they try to hold will know there's another way. 3 days later, the Concordate delegates returned with their answer. The lead delegate's crystalline body seemed less bright somehow, as if dimmed by the weight of their decision. The Concordate has existed for 1,422,000 years, it began. In that time, we have encountered 12,739 sentient species. None have challenged our system as humans have. The chamber was silent, every representative watching intently. We reject your proposal as presented, the delegate continued. However, we offer a counter-proposal. A 50-year transition period during which worlds may choose their affiliation. During this time, the Concordate will reform its classification system. Murmurs spread through the Alliance representatives. This was more than any had expected, an acknowledgement that change was necessary. Jinha conferred quickly with the other Alliance leaders before responding. We accept your counter-proposal. With one condition, he said. The transition begins immediately, and all Concordate restrictions on technology sharing and species contact are lifted now. The delegates' lights pulsed slowly. Agreed. As the formal agreement was prepared, the Concordate delegate approached Jinha privately. Our models failed to predict humanity's impact on galactic affairs, it said. This has never happened before, Jinha smiled. That's because your models are based on logic and patterns. Humans are often illogical. We dream impossible dreams and then find ways to make them real. A dangerous quality, the delegate observed. Yes, Jinha agreed, but also a necessary one. Without the dreamers who ignore limitations, how does a civilization grow beyond what it already is? 1 month later, Jinha stood with Harin, Quan, Lisa, Jake, and Commander Rex on a newly constructed platform in Earth's orbit. Before them stretched the combined fleet of the Alliance, hundreds of ships from 24 species, all gathered to mark the formal signing of the Galactic Accord. I never imagined this when we first met the Concordate, Harin said. looking out at the assembled fleet. I just wanted them to leave Earth alone. And now we've changed the galaxy, Jinha replied. Not through superior strength or technology, but by refusing to accept limitations imposed by others. Commander Rex nodded. Humans don't follow rules, we question them. And when necessary, we create better ones. As representatives from all Alliance worlds gathered for the ceremony, Jinha reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Earth had faced extinction and emerged not just surviving, but leading a revolution that spanned the stars. The Concordat ruled for over 1 million years, Lisa observed. How long do you think our alliance will last? Jinha watched as species that had been isolated from each other for millennia now shared knowledge, culture, and friendship. I don't know, he admitted, but whatever challenges come, we'll face them together. And when the rules don't work anymore, we'll make new ones. Quan smiled. That's the human way. No, Jinha corrected him, looking at their alien allies. That's the way of all free beings. The galaxy has finally remembered what it means to dream. As the ceremony began, Jinha thought about future generations who would grow up in this new galaxy, not divided by tiers or controlled by ancient protocols, but united in the belief that every species had the right to chart its own course among the stars. The struggle had been necessary. Through it, humanity had not just saved itself, but helped free countless others. And in doing so, they had proven what humans had always known in their hearts. The most important rules are not those we follow, but those we create together.